It's very quiet here today.
It's very placid.
It's very placid, yes.
Calm and peaceful.
Until something isn't.
Until the crocodile attacks.
Rah!
Spoiler. These movies are about crocodiles.
Oh, no, it's Lake Placid week.
It's Lake Placid week. And Anaconda, a touch of Anaconda.
Sort of. Little crossover there that we didn't really need.
Yeah, because they made 4 Lake Placid films and 4 Anaconda films, and then they made Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
The peak of cinema.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is the Horror Guys Podcast, brought to you by HorrorWeekly.com, your weekly email newsletter of horror reviews. And if you had been signed up this week, you would have gotten an entire list of Lake Placid movies, because that's what we did this week.
Yep.
We've got Lake Placid 1, Lake Placid 2, creatively named Lake Placid 3, Lake Placid the Final Chapter,
Which is a lie.
Yes. And Lake Placid versus Anaconda. And there's one more that'll be coming on still next week that we didn't get to.
Lake Placid Legacy.
Yes.
And I saw where there's talks of, making another one yet, too.
Oh, why not?
They're
it
not
works.
done. If they keep making money, they'll keep making more.
Clearly they're cheap.
Boy, they get cheaper as they go along.
They do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so anyway, we mentioned Horror Weekly. Also, we got Horror Monthly, the monthly magazine of all our reviews. Pick that up at HorrorMonthly.com. You can get that as ebook, print, or any place you buy your ebooks has them. If you want a paperback, you can get it from Amazon, or Lulu has them. We never plug our Lulu books, but you can get them there too if you don't like Amazon.
There's alternatives.
There are people who don't like Amazon.
There are, yeah.
Yeah.
We should talk about these movies in order.
There are people who don't like Lake Placid too.
Yeah.
Those people are way too serious.
These are not serious movies.
1999 started off the whole thing with Lake Placid. Directed by Steve Miner, written by David E. Kelley, stars Bill Pullman, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt, Brendan Gleeson, and Betty White, of all people. 82 minutes, and there is a YouTube trailer in the usual place.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this was the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about, movies with the whole franchise and many sequels. The first one almost always is best.
Quite often it goes that way. Yeah.
Well, crappy movies don't get a bunch of sequels.
Well, this kept making money, so they kept making more.
Well, spoiler-free, what happens?
It's a giant creature feature set in a beautiful location. It really is. It's pretty. There's a lot of violence and gore, and also a lot of dark humor. Not quite comedy genre, but...
Oh, real close.
Yeah, there's a lot of chuckles in this one to be had, and Betty White is a hoot in this. The casting is excellent, and it really added a lot to making the movie more watchable. I think it, without
they weren't
the good
taking
cast,
it too seriously.
Yeah, good cast who had fun with it. It was very entertaining, a very fun watch. So if you're just going to watch, a Lake Placid movie, definitely, the first one would be recommended. Yeah, the other sequels, less so, but yeah, I would highly recommend the first one.
Am I right in thinking you had not seen this one?
I had not.
You had not seen any of them?
I had not seen any of them.
Okay, so you like this one best.
I had seen many of the Anaconda movies, but yeah, not the Lake Placid ones.
Okay, yeah, I had seen this one before, but I don't think I'd seen the others.
Yeah.
As credits roll, we see scenes of a very placid lake.
Yep.
The sheriff and a diver are out tagging beavers. The diver goes down and finds an underwater tunnel and techs it out. Turns out it's not a beaver nest. The sheriff, aboard the boat, ends up pulling up half the diver.
Ew.
In New York City, Kelley explains to Myra that her boyfriend has dumped her. Myra already knows because she stole Kevin from her. And turns out Kevin is the boss who doesn't like Kelley anymore. Near Lake Placid, Sheriff Hank welcomes Jack Wells with Fish and Game Department to investigate this animal attack. Kevin comes in and talks about probable bear attack and wants to send Kelley to Maine to investigate a tooth they found inside the diver. It's a big tooth.
Yeah, she is actually a paleontologist, but the tooth is weird and old looking, and they don't know what it is, and so strangely enough, she's not normally dealing with live specimens, but here she goes.
Plus, she's never worked in the field before. She's an office person, so
Yeah,
he's just sending her to get rid of her.
Works in a museum,
Yeah.
cataloging and so forth.
Well, Kelley, Jack, and Hank go out to the lake and talk to an old woman who is the only person who actually lives on the lake. Mrs. Bickerman says her husband died 2 years ago from an assisted suicide. She's got this whole story about how she killed him. Kelley, in the meantime, does not enjoy the natural beauty of the place. I have good hygiene. I'm not welcome here. She didn't like country people either, and never misses an opportunity to be insulting.
That's right, yeah.
Hector Sear, a rich mythology nut, shows up in a helicopter. Turns out he's obsessed with crocodiles, and he's very, 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 very weird.
Very eccentric and very rich.
There shouldn't be any crocodiles in this lake, but he's pretty confident that's what they've got. We never really find out how he heard about this, did we? He's got a spy somewhere?
Yep, uh-huh.
Well, the whole group goes out in canoes. Something knocks over one of the boats. They also find that diver's toe.
The evidence is mounting.
Yeah. Hector is a party animal and sets up quite the fancy campsite. He likes glamping.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to camp.
Yeah.
How he does it. Yeah.
Sheriff Hank does not like him at all. The next day, they use all their equipment as Hector and Jack go diving for the creature. Seems like a really bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the monster attacks the boat with Kelley and Hank inside. They're fine, but the deputy, on the other hand, loses his head.
And they know,
Literally.
And they know inconclusively that there is indeed a large creature in the lake.
Yeah. And we'll stop there. As always, if you want to read the full synopsis, it's on horrorweekly.com and horrorguys.com also, either one of them. And you can find out how this movie ends and spoil it for yourself. But it's better if you just watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a good one. I would recommend it.
Yeah. The interplay between Hank and Hector is comedy gold. Actually, this movie is only good because of the stellar cast. The croc is a combination of CGI and practical effects, but it's pretty effective. Yeah, you're watching this movie, I think, to see the cast interact. It's a big crocodile. How exciting is that? It eats people. Big deal.
You've seen creatures before.
Yeah. It's a great mix of giant animal horror and comedy. It was very successful at the time and led to a whole batch of sequels, none of which brought any of the cast back.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people had had enough of this.
And as it goes along, the CGI gets more and more used and more obvious too, as the sequels go. But
Yeah.
this one did have a giant puppet that they used, a giant animatronic puppet thing that was the croc for a lot of the shots.
Well, again, comparing
Not all the
it
shots.
to the Anaconda movies we did a week or so ago, the first two were in the theaters and the rest were on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Placid 2 in 2007
Starts
went straight
right
to the
out.
Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. Yeah, straight to TV. Yeah.
Directed by David Flores, written by Todd Hurwitz and Howie Miller, stars John Schneider, Sarah LaFleur, Sam McMurray, Chad Michael Collins, Alicia Ziegler, and Cloris Leachman.
So still lots of recognizable faces still.
If you can't get David Hasselhoff, John Schneider is right there behind him. 88 minutes, and here's a trailer on YouTube.
And Cloris Leachman is the sister of Betty White's character?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler free, the first movie was enough of a success they made a sequel. They embraced the CGI this time, lowered the quality of casting, and generally cheapened everything as a direct-to-TV sci-fi production. The gore was stepped up, while the humor and pacing were a step down. It was okay. Definitely not the movie the first film was.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was okay. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Well, after the credits, we open on 2 men in a boat talking about how many people have disappeared on this lake. And soon, one of them disappears, and it's one man in the boat.
There's one now.
Coincidentally, yeah. Sheriff Riley listens to his son Scott complain about being there after a custody battle. The EPA man comes into the office and tells him about his partner being eaten. They think it's all a joke, until he shows them the man's chewed arm.
That's kind of proof.
Yeah, so something got him. Emily from Fish and Wildlife arrives, and she has a history with Sheriff Riley. So we get to know these characters. The group goes out on a boat to see where the attack took place, and they all talk about the crazy old woman who used to feed crocodiles on the lake.
Yeah, so it is a sequel.
Mm-hmm. They find a head, and then they go to talk to old Sadie. Sadie, like we mentioned, is the sister of the other Mrs. Bickerman. Sadie feeds the local newsman to her crocodile.
Stupid reporters.
Yeah. I don't think she did that on purpose.
Oh, yes, she did.
You think so?
Go stand out there by the end of the dock. A little further, a little further. Yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing. She did. Riley, Emily, and Frank soon see the crocodile when it smashes their boat. CGI plane lands.
They couldn't get a real airplane to land in this movie. They had to fake it.
Yeah.
How hard is it to get a stock footage of a plane landing?
Yeah. Struthers this time, they've got a different rich loony guy. He arrives, and he wants to hunt the crocodile.
Basically, they're taking the same notes from the first one. They're just cheapening and redoing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. Well, meanwhile, Scott and Carrie meet in the woods, along with Thad and Larry. They head to the lake with her friends. He goes out for a walk alone and finds a nest with eggs. Thad breaks some eggs and soon pays for it.
Hey, there's a giant crocodile in these woods.
Yeah.
All right.
We should stop there.
Yeah, we should.
There's mayhem and hijinks. And
yeah,
once again, they team up and fight this giant crocodile.
This one was made for the Sci-Fi Channel and never hit theaters directly. All the so-called teenagers are way old, and the acting is equally bad. It's cheaply made, with no corners left uncut. I've made my David Hasselhoff at home joke about John Schneider already, but they lost nearly all the humor and went for a straight-up horror movie this time.
And the reason we mentioned David Hasselhoff as well, too, because he was in
the second Anaconda.
The second Anaconda movie.
Or the third, whichever.
Yeah, whichever one it was.
It was the jump of the shark moment for that series.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, this one, the best part of the first movie was the humor.
And this is way too serious.
This is a straight horror movie. There's very little funny.
Cloris Leachman, I think, is the funniest part in
this.
this.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, there's still some there, but not like the first one.
Yeah.
It was kind of dull.
Yeah, even for a made-for-TV story, this was the dull one.
Much less entertaining.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it's not the first one.
I think they got actually a little bit. I think number 2 was the low point. The other series, the rest of the series got a little bit better.
A little bit.
They embraced the stupidity of it quite a bit in the rest of them.
Yeah, more so.
Lake Placid 3 from 2010, directed by Griff First, written by David Reed, stars Colin Ferguson, Yancey Butler, Kirsty Mitchell, Casey Clark, Jordan Gress, and Michael Ironside. It's always good if you got Michael Ironside in it.
It is.
96 minutes, and there's a trailer. Spoiler free.
Well, it's more of the same as the last two films, but this time no one really seems to be aware that the events of the first two films happened or there were really anything to be concerned about. It's like everybody's got a blank spot about it. The CGI is kind of bad in this one and obvious, but it overall was a bit better than the second movie. Still not as good as the first, but if you saw the first two, if you made it through the second one, this one's a little better, a little bit of an uptick.
Yeah. The next three are all tied together with some overlapping cast, and they're obviously continuations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they start tying in with the science, and the crocs are not normal crocs, they're mutations, and they go into that sort of thing. And,
so this is sort of a soft reboot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the Black Lake Wildlife Area, not Lake Placid. And two hikers arrive at the lake. They go for a swim and hear growling. A bunch of little crocodiles eat them both.
Oh, my.
Crocodiles growl now.
They do.
Do crocodiles growl? I know the anacondas didn't really growl like they did in the movies.
I think that crocs and gators do growl. I think so. I think they can make a growly noise.
All right.
Yeah.
Nathan stands on the dock and has some kind of flashback to the previous film. Nathan, an EPA scientist, is old Mrs. Bickerman's nephew, and he's just inherited her cabin. The sheriff comes to visit Nathan, Susie, and their son Connor. The sheriff tries to convince them that the crocodile incident will never happen again. He wants them to live here rather than sell the house. Why does he care who owns the house? Anybody could buy that house.
Yeah.
As they talk, Connor sees crocodiles outside and feeds them all. The sheriff is not very good at his job. 2 years later, Connor is still feeding the much larger crocs. Susan leaves him with Vika, the babysitter. He sneaks out to the store to steal a big bag of meat for his pets. Nathan's out in the woods studying elk when he meets a group of campers. When they find a head, Nathan thinks it may have been Reba, a local poacher. Meanwhile, in town, Brett comes to see Reba.
It was not Reba's head.
No, he thought she'd killed something.
Oh, that she did it.
She did it. Yeah. He wants to hire her to find a missing girl in the lake area. At home, the crocodiles eat Vika's little yap-yap dog, and then attack Vika as well. Out at the lake, those 4 hikers start getting picked off one by one. And Croc's gonna eat.
Yep, they do. Yeah.
This one was also made for TV, but I thought it was a lot better than the previous film.
Yeah, I thought so.
The Crocs are still mediocre CGI, but once we get past that, it's pretty good. Anytime there's any real action, the camera gets all shaky to make it look more exciting. I found the editing annoying. Yet the editing in some other scenes were almost as bad even without the action.
See, I didn't notice that, or that didn't really bother me. Yeah.
It's like, just because there's a crocodile, 10 feet away stalking you, that's not a reason to be shaking the camera around.
Could be.
No, they just try to make everything shaky, make it look like more is happening on screen.
Okay, yeah. And this is filmed overseas, too.
Yes.
And
that's why they had a Russian-sounding babysitter.
Foreign influences start creeping around the edges. And a lot of times in these movies, if you look, like, they'll go into a grocery store, and the products are all a little off. And, there'll be things here and there that are a little off. Plus extras and minor characters that have, foreign accents because they've hired locals.
Lake Placid is actually in Kazakhstan or something like that.
Bosnia or wherever, I don't know where it was filmed, but yeah.
One of those Eastern Europe places.
Yeah, this was not in the U.S.
2012's Lake Placid, the final chapter.
Wow.
A very misleading title.
You'll never see any more after this one.
Directed by Don Michael Paul, written by David Reed, stars Elizabeth Rome, Yancey Butler again, Paul Nichols, and Robert Englund. Ooh, we're classing it up.
You can't go wrong with Robert Englund.
Actually, you can. He doesn't do much here. 90 minutes. All right. And some time has passed. No, what's spoiler-free?
Yeah, spoiler-free. Well, some time has passed, like you said, and now the lake and the surrounding area is enclosed with a big, sturdy electric fence to contain the crocodiles, which they've realized are the only ones of their kind. They're a special species. But lots of people still make it inside, either deliberately or accidentally, and there's still a decent body count. Everything about it is decent. It's not awful, but it's kind of more of the same that we've already seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's killer crocodiles. What more do you want?
That fence, though, and they show the lake a lot of times.
It's a huge lake.
It's huge, and they have fenced in. It's a tall. I mean,
it's a
like
Jurassic Park type fence.
Not that huge, but it's over 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
and heavily reinforced and electrified. And just the amount of power to keep that energized.
Plant just for that.
Plus the cost of building a fence that big, that sturdy. Wow. Yeah. Not too realistic.
No.
Yeah.
We open on the final battle of the previous film, and turns out that Reba is not as dead as she looked before. We saw her torn up, mutilated corpse in that grocery store at the end of the previous movie.
We did. And
well, look, she's back.
They have retconned it. She's okay.
As she limps out of the grocery store, credits roll as she kills one more croc. Sometime later, Sheriff Grove, Dennis, and now Fish and Game Ranger Reba, and she changes jobs from poacher to a ranger.
Uh-huh.
Would the rangers hire a former poacher? That seems like, hiring felons or whatever it is.
Well, it's kind of a special circumstance, though, because she knows the area and she knows these crocs.
Right.
That's what they want. So
anyway, these characters go out in a boat to look for one of the very rare crocodiles. They tranquilize and capture a small one, but there's reports of bigger ones not far away. They all get into a truck and drive off, but a big croc chases them. Again, just like Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
The whole area is... We should do the Jurassic Park movies someday.
We should, yeah.
Do those even... Other than the first one, do any of those do you think qualify as horror?
Oh, it's really pushing it.
Yeah.
Does the first one even count? I guess the first one, there's moments of horror in the first one. I think the first one
could, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole area is surrounded by an electric fence as a wildlife refuge for the protected animals. Dennis explains that the crocs are mutants that shouldn't be getting so big.
And yet they do.
Laughlin talks to his son Max, who is working on the electric fence. The sheriff goes home to her daughter Chloe, so we all have family to deal with as well.
Mm-hmm.
They go out and look at all the young guys who like Chloe. Chloe's got a senior camping trip this weekend, but she doesn't really want to go. She's one of those nerdy bookish types, not the sex-crazed teenagers that die in horror movies.
And she even packs books to bring along on the camping trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poacher, Jim Bickerman, who, along with Dennis and his men, sneak through the electric gate to go hunting crocs. Well, they sneak in there that night. They soon find one, and when it chases them, they can't get out of the electric fence. It's easy to get in. It's not so easy to get out.
Because it was locked behind them, yeah.
The screams attract the attention of Max, who opens the gate and gets hauled off by a croc.
And leaves the gate wide open.
Chloe and a busload of teens arrive at the safe beach at the lake, because the gate was open and they missed it that night.
Mm-hmm.
But Chloe thinks they may have gone to the wrong place.
Yeah, they took a wrong turn and went right through the gate into the sanctuary.
That's quite a driver. Not only did he go through the electric fence that he didn't see, he got the whole wrong lake.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff Teresa and Laughlin make out at home. Chloe tells the story of Mrs. Bickerman and her oversized crocodile pets. Chloe's boyfriend, Drew, double times her along with her friend Elaine. All right, in the morning, the men call the sheriff, Reba, Laughlin, and the others to come and investigate because the gate was left open, and now Max is missing.
Oh, news.
One of the high school camping kids gets eaten by what appears to be piranhas.
Yeah, that did look.
I guess they were probably baby crocodiles. But
I think they were supposed to be, but it sure didn't look like it.
no, it looked like one of the piranha movies.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe then finds what's left of Max out in the woods.
No, it's not what's left of Max.
Well,
He was
okay,
fine.
he's alive.
He was just
All right.
mildly injured. Yeah.
Soon, everyone knows about the giant crocs on the beach. Mayhem ensues.
Yeah.
All right, well, again, we talked about how big that lake was to be surrounded by a high-voltage fence.
Yeah, and it's not like just a simple chain link electric fence.
No, this is big.
Yeah, heavily fortified. Yeah.
Again, there's not a whole lot of humor in this one. They're still taking it fairly seriously. There's a lot of action, and the pacing is decent. Not awful, but it's not anything innovative either. I imagine if you're watching the Sci-Fi Channel and it comes on, you don't have to change the station.
Having Yancey Butler return as Reba was definitely a bright spot. I liked her role.
She's very funny, yes.
Yeah, she's funny. And
Better in the next one, even.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Still full of CGI, but, yeah.
No getting around that with the sci-fi.
Each of the sequels has gotten slightly better, I think.
Yeah, the second one was awful, and then they get a little bit better. The Peak Placid.
Peak film.
2015. Lake Placid versus Anaconda. Oh, boy. A.B. Stone is the director. Writer is Berkeley Anderson. Stars Yancey Butler again. Cora Nemec, who always seems to wind up in these sci-fi channels. They like him.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Englund coming back again, even though we saw him,
Chewed up. And he is chewed up. He's missing limbs and an eye, but he's hanging in there.
92 minutes.
Yeah.
I like the font for the poster here. It makes it look like a boxing match.
Yeah, it does.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda. Spoiler free. It's the crossover we didn't know we needed. 5th in both of the series. So you make 4, need one more. How about a crossover?
Let's cross over. Yeah.
The crocs from the Lake Placid movies were contained until they tried to combine the giant anacondas with them, and things became a mess. There's quite a body count in this one. Lots of CGI creature action and gore. It had a lot more humor than the previous Anaconda films, which we just saw all of them at the same time, so it's a little easier to compare.
Mm-hmm.
It's middling, not awful, but it has some entertainment value. And honestly, we watched this one when we finished the Anaconda movies. We watched this before the Lake Placid movies.
Yeah, we did.
And
yeah.
I will say this is one of the better Lake Placid movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in retrospect, we liked it more than we didn't.
Yeah.
It's especially good if you like watching lots of young women in bikinis.
It was heavy on those, yeah.
I noticed that more in the previous one with the high school trip. I'm sure they were here too, though.
Yeah, they were. Well, and right on the poster, too. They played that up in the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well. It's some of the posters, yeah.
Well, what happens?
Well, we open on a group of people hunting an alligator in the woods. Jim Bickerman, who has lost some limbs and an eye, due to the local reptiles, he is there with them. The giant crocodile, they catch it, and is taken to a lab, where there's also a giant snake. Well, this whole area is full of protected crocs, but Jim knows how to get in and out. What they do is they inject some cells from the crocodile into an anaconda. which is about to lay eggs.
Don't do that.
What could go wrong merging these two creatures? Yeah, giant snakes,
Anaconda.
giant crocs, yeah. Well, suddenly the big croc wakes up and gets loose. In the ensuing scuffle, the snake escapes as well. Multiple snakes. Yeah. Well, at the Clear Lake State Recreation Area, we run into Tull, who's a wildlife cop. We also see Sheriff Reva in the next town over.
She's sheriff now.
Now she's a sheriff, yeah. Where at least there's one missing person from the area around the Black Lake electric fence. If there's trouble, the mayor is all set for a cover-up.
This guy has seen Jaws too many times.
He has, yeah. Deputy Ferguson is at Black Lake, and he found the mess from last night where the hunters were. Daphne, in the whole escaped creatures and that mess, yeah. Daphne, the missing girl, turns out to have a crocodile under her bed, which eats her.
Okay.
Yeah. Sarah Murdoch, the daughter of the dead businessman of the previous Anaconda films, tells Mr. Beach about the blood orchids and immortality. And this is a thing from the Anaconda
series,
movies. Yeah. They were there's a rich old guy who is the head of a pharmaceutical company and knows about these blood orchids that are in the Amazon. And that's where the anacondas are as well, and they're giant and special because they eat the blood orchids.
I guess if you hadn't been watching the Anaconda series, this movie is not going to make a lot of sense.
It would help to see them.
It's not just a Lake Placid movie.
Yeah, because it does follow that storyline, too, the science they're trying to do with the anacondas. He's trying to cure everything and trying to find immortality, or at least cure his cancer. Well, the problem is that the only animals that are compatible with the serum that they have made are the anacondas and these special crocodiles. They got to figure out how to make it into something people can take. Well, a couple of carloads of sorority girls are driving out to prove themselves at Rush Weekend. And one of the girls is Bethany, who is Tully's daughter. And some hunters get eaten by a swarm of tiny crocodiles. At the crime scene, Reba cuts open a giant croc and finds some remains inside. She calls Tully for some croc assist.
And the crocodile hunt begins.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, nobody knows about those anacondas. Other than the original Lake Placid, this is the first one of the series that we'd seen. So we skipped the middle Lake Placids. Seems to lean more heavily on humor than the Anaconda series did. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely continued the ongoing story of the blood orchids and the anacondas, though that never really did make much sense. This one was also made for TV. It's a lot cheesier and less serious than the previous Anaconda films. It's also probably a little less serious than the previous Lake Placid films as well. This one's mostly played for... This is just too stupid to take seriously. It really is.
And Reba and her sidekick Ferguson, Deputy Ferguson.
He's a goof.
Yeah, he's a doof, and she tolerates him.
But overall, I liked the Lake Placid movie. Going into it, I'd have told you I liked Lake Placid more than Anaconda, but after having seen all the films, I think I like the Anacondas better.
I'm going to go with the first Lake Placid and the first Anaconda movie as my favorites.
That is, yes.
And then this crossover as number 3 for me.
Okay.
Out of all the 10 movies.
Yep. The first one of both, yeah. And this, okay, I'll agree with you. Yeah. Well, that is all for this week. Next week we'll have 5 more films. We'll finish up the Lake Placid series with Lake Placid Legacy. And we'll watch some new movies. We'll watch Primate, Predator Badlands, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and something that will remain a surprise maybe, because I haven't picked it out yet.
Okay.
That's all for this week. I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
We'll see you
next
week.
See ya.